For this week's treatment room talk, I want to discuss a way that you can be more empowered to learn more about your health from the inside. So, what I'm specifically talking about is learning what your hormone levels are, vitamin levels are, and things like that without having a doctor require testing. So, for example, a lot of times in my treatment room, I will see a client that has severe acne. And when you have severe acne, especially around your jawline, it tends to indicate that you have some kind of hormone disruption or a gut imbalance or both. And there are lots of times when I will refer a client out to get testing done and they'll get pushback from their doctor, or they won't have a doctor, or they won't have insurance. And in case you didn't know, there are at-home tests that you can do that will allow you to have the same results that your doctor would get from a lab. So, for example, there are laboratories out there that will mail you a test, and you take the test at home, mail the test back in, and they will give you the results of the test. And that allows you to be in control of what test you want, what results you're looking for, and then to be able to take those results when um, they're not the proper results, like you're out of balance, be able to take those results to a doctor and say, look, this is what's going on, and then work from that way on. So, in my own experience, I had an experience where I had gestational diabetes with my second son. And after I gave birth to him, I was still feeling the symptoms of the sugar issues that I was having during pregnancy. And I went into a doctor and let him know, look, I'm still feeling dizzy. I'm still having these same problems that I had when I had gestational diabetes. And I know that you guys say that it should be over, but I really do feel like I'm still having these symptoms. And that doctor looked me in the eye and he's said these exact words. He said, you're young, you're thin, your sugar is fine. Just go. He literally would not test me. Well, come to find out that I was hypoglycemic and I was having problems with my thyroid, and they were never tested. So it took almost 10 years for my thyroid to get bad enough to where the symptoms were so severe that a doctor finally paid attention to them, and I got the testing done. So I completely sympathize when I send a client out to say, hey, you're exhibiting some signs of a thyroid disorder. Why don't you go ask your doctor to get your levels tested? And they go in, and typically the doctors will just test like your T3 or T4 and say, they're fine, you're fine, everything's fine. But that isn't getting the whole picture of what's going on with your thyroid, and it's not getting the whole picture of what's going on with your hormones. And that can be incredibly frustrating to go from doctor to doctor and they're just not listening to you. And this is a way that you can get around that. So I'm going to tag these companies in my notes so that you can click on them and find them much easier. But these are tests, they're really not super expensive. They're usually between $100 to $300. And a lot of these companies also take insurance. So if you have insurance, it can help you pay for these tests. So one of the first ones that I recommend is the Paloma Health. And I send people who I think are exhibiting thyroid imbalance symptoms to them. The company is specific to your thyroid, and they test a lot of things that have to do with your thyroid. So, for example, I have Hashimoto's, and it wasn't recognized until my T3 and T4 were completely out of whack. And that's actually the end stage of that autoimmune disorder. So, had people have tested me earlier properly and done the entire test for my thyroid, it would have been caught much faster and I wouldn't have had as many problems. So Paloma, I recommend if you have any kind of thyroid issues, They also have endocrinologists that they work with. So if you get your results back and they are not in the normal range, you can then schedule an appointment with one of their endocrinologists to discuss it. And the endocrinologist can actually give you medication if you need medication, or point you in the direction that you need to get sent to. And it really is not expensive. This is from memory, so the prices may have changed, or I may be misremembering, but I'm pretty sure it was about $59 for a session with them. The next one I recommend is when you have a lot of acne or rosacea going on. Those tend to be symptoms of a gut imbalance, and I will send you to Viome, and they do gut tests. So they mail you the kit. You submit your sample, and they'll let you know what the bacteria in your gut looks like and if it's out of balance. If it is out of balance, they also have people you can talk to about it, and they have supplements that they'll let you know, okay, these are the things that will work best for you to bring your gut back into balance. The other one that I recommend is Everlywell, and they do quite a few different testings. They also do the thyroid testing like Paloma does. They have vitamin levels. They can test your vitamin levels. They do quite a few different testing. They have they'll test your hormones to see if you're in perimenopause or menopause. And they do online, but I have also recently seen that they're selling kits in Target. So in the prescription area, the pharmacy area in Target, they're selling kits over the counter. You can just pick them up, but it's the same exact kit. It is not any different. It just, you're going to Target and picking it up instead of having it mailed to you. So you still take the test at home and then mail the kit back in. And they also work with some providers as well that you can get appointments with. So just because you don't have insurance, or just because a doctor is not listening to you, does not mean that you don't have to, or don't have any options for how to move on if you think that something is wrong with you. There are definitely more options out there for you to take your health into your own hands and understand what is going on inside your body. So if you have questions about that, I would love to answer it. If you have any ideas, like, I'm not a doctor, so I can't diagnose anybody, but I do know quite a few symptoms of thyroid issues and quite a few symptoms of gut imbalances. So that's why I tend to tell clients, hey, I think you got something going on internally. Let's check it out. All right. So if you need anything around that, please let me know. Otherwise, if you're interested, visit these companies and see if that's something that will work for you. Have a wonderful week, and I will see you beauties later.